5 years later, after I won a contest for Trudvang and backed some of the extras, I won the base pledge, I backed an additional Muspelheim. Trudvang has finally delivered. And so I'm going to unbox it. I also recognize that none of this will ever probably be created ever again because nobody seems to care about this, not even CMON. But you know who does care about it? Me. And I swear to God, if Svakarnir is not in the base pledge, I'm gonna lose it. But I got all the Dwarven stuff, so I figured I'd unbox it because it's 3 big boxes full of CMON stuff. We can see what 5 years has gotten us, and then we can talk a little bit about Trudvang in general. Trudvang, which I still have high hopes for, which I wanted to wait to play more of until I got these plastic runes that cost me $15 US, 20 bucks Canadian, which guaranteed are not worth it. But now I have them, and now I can play with the smallest little tokens ever known to man to play Trudvang to enhance my bag building experience. Now, while I do this, I have wild beasts roaming around, pawing each other in the face, but we'll see if they get on camera or not. And so I did want to unbox it. I did want to talk about Trudvang, because I think Trudvang has some merit to it. And I also think this is a good representation of like CMON's value, or at least maybe the value back in 2019 when this was funded, because let's just start opening up the boxes. I don't know why I'm waiting. Let's go to the top down. Because I got the Wildland, or everybody who pledged got the Wildland and the Lost Stories. Lost Stories basically just being sort of one-shots, even though the entire campaign of Trudvang are one-shots because you reset your bag in between each, which is shocking, but also I don't hate it because then I don't really care about having a campaign game, another campaign game that I can't finish. I can just kind of do it as one-shots as they all were supposed to be. But yeah, the fact that you got 2 things, like I got Wildland and Lost Stories as a Trudvang backer, like these are the 2 things that were given for free in that base $100 pledge, which is pretty good. And then I think I paid 60 or 70 for the Muspelheim expansion, which I only got because I wanted to make sure that if they remembered, and I bet they didn't, Zach and I were talking about this recently, if they remembered to include Zach in the game as Svakarnir, well, that would be great, and I am hopeful for it. I'm gonna need some scissors for this. Nope, it's just stuck together by tape. Ha-ha! Let's look at these plastic ruins first. I guess I'm going to need a bag for these. Can we hear this clinking from the top-down camera? There are the runes. Honestly, I'm still very happy that I got them. They do feel kind of solid, even though they look kind of smudged in every aspect of them. But maybe that's just flavor texture, you know? Maybe that's not just the paint rubbing off on everything else. Maybe it's designed that way to give you a sense of the mystery. Let's hope it is. Sure, they're fine. Should you have paid $15 for this? I don't know. I guess so, because the original runes, which I'll grab out right here, I got this little organizer. The original runes were just cardboard. Honestly, I don't think they were worth it. I think I've delayed playing this game for 3 years because I thought that this would be more satisfying, and I doubt it will be, but they'll go into this container and yeah, just monumentally unsatisfying. That's okay. We will put these in later. The great thing about Trudvang as well, and most CMON dungeon crawlers, is that they provide you with 0 storage options. And so getting something like this from Dollarama is super clutch. I wish I could find more of these from Dollarama. I think they're out, but I would buy a ton. Like, I love these little token organizers, and I feel like they're so important for any dungeon crawler needs to have one of these, and if it's not built into the game, what are you doing? What are you doing in this day and age? Yeah, they might be better. They might be better. They're a little bit more satisfying. Kind of wish they were thicker. But what can you do? Complain on the internet. I guess that's what you can do. Well, apparently I'm doing it now. With my big fat fingers. Yeah, I do like the tokens, I think, less because they don't have the nice color on them, right? You pull those out, you're like, bam. You can see the symbols, the white in the middle and the colors on the outside. Here are the colors on the inside, and you kind of lose that a bit. But we paid for them, and god damn it, we're going to enjoy them. That's how we operate around here. Like, this has to just be clearly smudged paint, right? Like, this can't be a design choice. I don't see a world in which it's an actual design choice. So I backed this, I won a contest in 2019 to get this, and then I purchased the extras in the summer of 2019, and it is now October 2024 when this has arrived, which is one of the latest Kickstarters I think I've ever been had the chance of partaking in. But I also think that means that should say something about the game, in that I'm kind of stoked. I'm kind of stoked that it's arrived because I like it. I think it's a good game, and I think it's a good game that nobody's ever gonna like get and play and enjoy. There are runes. Now let's continue. The other thing that CMON said, we're very sorry that it has taken us 5 years to get this to you. Let us give you some sculpted flags, some sculpted points of interest. So that's what this is. Some plastic points of interest. Which I think it's a really nice gesture for everybody who was mad and annoyed that they couldn't get their game in time. But I also think this is a horrible decision, because why is it not double-sided? So people, if you're playing around a table and you have this set, half of the people won't know what's what. Like, is it that difficult to consider that more than one person will be playing your game, more than two? I don't know. But these are kind of nice. Kind of cute little flags. Will I use them? Who knows? Probably not. I think tokens will probably be better, but it's a nice touch. I think some people will appreciate them, so there you go. All right, let's look into this Wildland first. This is a Legends expansion. It's also interesting to see how the team has shifted. I think that's kind of neat, right? But the original Trudvang was Jordan Adan, Umberto Pignatelli, Francesco Nepitello, and Marco Maggi. And then the Wildland expansion has Jordi and Marco, and then we add Michelle Garbugio, and we cut out the other two. So it's interesting to see how the team has shifted over that time, but maybe it's just for specific ones, right? Because over here we have Jordi Don and Umberto Pignatelli. Kind of cool to see who's working on what project. I think that's kind of neat. And how the design space is shared. Clearly Jordi Don is like the lead on Trudvang, and so if you end up really loving Trudvang, which, again, I like the flow of it, that would be a person then whose work you could watch out for. Another thing that I'm considering when I'm unboxing all these is how can I fit it down into one box? So the Trudvang Wildland is an expansion that features a brand new class, the Warlord, a powerful and esteemed warrior, always accompanied by two of his most trusted guards. Cool. Plus a 5-adventure campaign that takes the players to the center of political tensions rising in the savage wildlands. So it's just an additional 5 scenarios, essentially. In a land ruled by barbarians, more than physical strength is needed to keep the peace. It is the hero's abilities in diplomacy, and forming alliances that will be decisive in bringing the conflict to an end. Cool. So we're just gonna have some extra heroes, some extra people, an extra little book of sagas, some tokens to punch out. That's a nicer framing. Book of Sagas and Rules. There's the Wildland, the Book of Sagas, and the new campaign and the new classification. And those are the Warlord's guards, essentially. You'll combine these. Yeah, I figure I'll just combine these. The Book of Sagas is going to take place on the regular map as well. Nice. Another just big old book. This is one thing that I do like about Trudvang, and if you like the sort of choose your own adventure story, it's a fun little generic fantasy story that has been going on in the Trudvangian world, and it's fun to read it through and make some decisions that ultimately don't really matter all that much. Ooh, uh-oh, there's the spoilers, because you're going to have a photographic memory and remember everything that popped up there. Great, this is basically a big box of nothing, right? Because this is just these are the cards for the new Warlord class right here, which come in a bunch of different feats. And then we have the story cards that will be slotted in using the exact same insert from the main game, it seems. And then we have this big old thing of the minis, which this troll mini does look pretty fun, and these new characters look pretty cool, following the same color scheme, which is nice. I'm not going to crack open too many of the cards because I want to figure out the best way to actually arrange and store this in a way that I can get it to the table without wanting to kill myself. I imagine I'll have like a character and map box, and then like a villains box maybe. So we got Ulf, and then over the course of the game you will get to upgrade these different things. So how the game works, if you don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, hey, how's it going? Wait, why haven't you hit the like button yet? Well, I wouldn't either, honestly. But you have these different sorts of cards where you will be having a number of these skills that are out there, and you will draw tokens from the bag, and until you hit tokens that you cannot place anywhere, you can keep on drawing tokens from the bag. So it gives a little bit of a push your luck thing, and then over the course of a game, you can upgrade these things and upgrade these specific skills. Now that's the one thing that does kind of carry over from game to game are the things that you upgrade, but the composition of your bag doesn't change. So you kind of always go back to this composition. So you'll always start every game with 1 water, 3 fire, 3 of those, and then you'll need to go to places on the board to develop your bag over the course of the game, which is a bit deflating when you're hoping to like have awesome draws at the end. You don't really have the awesome draws, and so it kind of gets a bit samey, but you do get like can build up these sort of ultimate combos which give you additional spots, and that you do have to build up to do the legendary safeguard to do just more damage over the course of as you progress through the story to enemies that require more damage to be hit, aka pretty much the same experience. The whole core is looking at the Come On always tapes these things shut, which is annoying. Well, these buddies do look cool. That's Ulf. Still like really good quality minis, you know? The muscles, his big, beefy, burly muscles. I'm gonna get this out of the way so I can keep on focusing on. So my camera will continue to focus on the right thing. Yeah, that's a cool buddy. Oh yeah, this guy's pretty badass. With his axe and his sword. Cool. Yeah, the variation in the classes also in Trudvang don't feel that varied to me. I mean, you do have some varied skills, but it doesn't like really get everything together. I'm just jumping right ahead to this buddy. I remember this guy in the stretch goals, and he's cool. Like you can see his texture and his friggin' back, and just like a dumb stone giant troll. Yeah, that guy's awesome. Ooh, we got these tentacle beasts. These little tentacle beasties. Kind of wrapped around a piece of wood. That's sweet. I really like unique sculpts, and I think it's getting harder and harder. The more dungeon crawlers you play, the harder and harder it is to get more and more unique sculpts. But it's fun. It's fun when they happen, and it's fun when they're stolen from He-Man as well. Cool. All right. So that'll be this box will be easy to consolidate into another box for sure. Don't need it. But fun to come in a different little box, and if you're looking at Wildlands on the secondary market, that's what it gives you. It gives you some extra people, a few extra scenarios. Definitely not worth whatever you pay for it, but the base game is always the thing that you really need in these sort of story campaigns. But speaking of extra stuff, let's go to the Lost Stories. Trudvang Lost Stories is an expansion that brings 5 new heroes, new enemies, and 5 side quests that can be played in between sessions of other Trudvang campaigns. Okay, introducing new elements into the world and rewards to heroes. More than single-shot stories, each Lost Story will further render your game into a unique state. I mean, all of the minis in here look like they're going to be pretty sweet with this lineup down here. I'm kind of excited about that. And then we get a bunch of heroes. 13 heroes. Snorri is who I'm looking for. Some extra cards, some story cards, because they relate to the map, and you'll be sort of slotting those into the map as well. The thing with Trudvang is you over the course of the game, your map is developing. That was another thing that I thought was really, really neat. But yeah, let's take a little peek-see in here. And pretty cool that they've done it into 2 boxes. I think one is just because one is like Kickstarter exclusive. This is the Book of Sagas and Rules, just some additional rules, additional setups, and then you have, again, 5 quests. So you're getting 10 extra scenarios in the game. Trudvang's number of quests in there, I don't know, I think it's close to 20. Dora and Sheik, always accompanied by her faithful piggy companion. But again, not much rules overhead. Again, just more of the same, more of choose your own adventure. L2, the Curse of the Horned God. And you can see like this is one page, one story, for example, and you get 7 pages of choose your own adventure text, which the game plays in like an hour and a half. So I think that's pretty good. A lot of it is reading, and then it's some fun bag pulling. Yeah, again, 7 pages averaging, 7 pages for each one. Boom, 7 to 8. Ooh, to 10, to 11. Wow. I think the art of Trudvang is just friggin' awesome, too. Here's your little pig companions. There's some rot tokens, which don't go in the bag, I assume. Extra story cards, so that you have a place to put them. So you can just take them and put them into the main box. That would be sweet. See the storage guide at the back. Okay. This is a weird way of packaging things, but we're going to take a look. We have essentially 2 layers of minis that we're going to pop out. Those being and the cards for the heroes. Oh, this is sweet. That's each hero's individual deck with all of their feats and their potential things that are going to happen to them. Let's go through their pictures. We have Tolgar. We have Mordhan, who's clearly a bard. Agnarbork. Yeah, he's bomb, isn't he? Who's like a rogue or a fighter. Looks kind of roguish. Hjalmar, who is the barbarian style. Wald Carl. Not just ordinary Carl, but Wald Carl. Oh, yeah. Ivri, or Irvi, who's a Corpicali elf. That's sweet. Valvoya. Kettle. Looks like a rune caster. There's a difference between, like, there's spell weavers and mages. There's a difference between those two as you sort of work the ether. Dora, who's our bard, who has a pig companion. And Mel. Cool. Oh, and Ivor and Snorri, of course. Our favorite Snorri. Like, come on, how badass. Here's our storage solution here. Oh, we've got the wings for a dragon down there. And then we pull it off, and off goes the lid, and you can get all the big badass monsters down here. Dang. Like, these are pretty friggin' fun, hey? Like, that's a cool dragon. That's really cool. Oh, man. Like, look at this buddy. His big friggin' tusks and his spears. That's pretty sweet. And then here's a dragon. Maybe he was just a dragon. Strong Bat, how'd you get there? Where we can plop Buddy's wings on him. Boop. Alright, you know what? That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. And he's on his big old rock. We get some sculpted base, which is fun, but not really. It's just part of the main mini. Cool. I mean, I'm quite impressed with these big buddies. Again, a base pledge for CMON is generally a good deal. What else do we have to look at? Got one of these little scaly guys. What I'm really kind of impressed with Trudvang actually is that they all seem to be like really unique. Like they've done a really good job on the unique shapes. If you're a minis collector and you like painting, like I could see these being really fun. These might be some of the most unique sculpts that I've seen from CMON in a long time. I mean, this guy's friggin' flat as all can be, but his face is really friggin' cool. Like, look at that. This, like, skeleton samurai who's enormous compared to friggin' little Snorri. Little Snorri's running around, and then, bam, you get this dragon for scale? Like, just stick him right in there and chomp down. It's kind of how I pictured, like, the tribes of the north, honestly. Vandia Axley or something like that. Oh, this is another sweet one. Get like a tree with skulls in it. That's a technical term. A tree with skulls in it. Yeah. I'm really impressed. Honestly, I was not prepared to be this impressed. In fact, I was prepared to be belligerent. But no, that didn't break off. It's supposed to look like that. I just, like, I love the differences between all of these sculpts and the difference of feel of all these sculpts. Like, even with not, like, a really dynamic mold that it's just, like, if you look at it there, who cares? But when you're looking at it from the right angle, it's, like, really neat. Like, this was just clearly smushed together. But it's pretty cool, yeah. And even these little buddies are still pretty fun too. Like a little harpy on a tree branch. Yeah, I mean, like I'm quite impressed with the minis. It took 5 years, but yep, these are easy to get off too. It seems. Maybe. Yep. Yeah, really quite impressed. The heroes are kind of, who cares, whatever. Oh, this one might be my favorite, though. I like this floating buddy. That's cool. That kind of looks like Mel. And then that's like a fun action pose, whatever. Yeah, so I think something like the Lost Stories box could just house all the minis in it. If you kind of throw them in willy-nilly, which I might. And then have the other main box as your everything else section. I don't know, these boxes are pretty chock full, which is nice from a content perspective, is less nice from a Chris wants to save storage and wants a 2-box version of Trudvang and not a 4-box version of Trudvang. Oh, gotta throw this back in as well. I'm not putting it back in that white box, that's more just for like assembly and travel and who cares. And can these fit? They cannot. Because the thing about all these big boxes is that, like, you always want to think about flow, right? You always want to think about ease of play. And the difficult thing with these sorts of boxes is that, like, I don't want to pull out 4 boxes to play a game. I just don't. I'm lazy. I want to pull out 1. It's hard enough to pull out once, but to do it 4 times? No. Now, okay, this is Muspelheim. Let's see if it was worth the... This was basically like $70 Canadian. You know? And let's see if it was worth it. I doubt it is. I got it solely because, well, I won it and I wanted to support, and I wanted to see just in case they put Zach in this one. In the subterranean realms of Muspelheim, the caverns and the tunnels beneath the surface of Trudvang, the dwarves toil in their mines and forges, crafting tools, weapons, armor, and jewelry, all of cunning design and enduring beauty. Yet once thriving settlements echoing with hammer blows and hot forges now stand silent as tombs. Tombs! Jesus. Nothing moves there, not even the air, only a sinister mist. Mysterious and powerful forces are at play, whose hands move unseen in the cavernous dark. Trudvang Legends Muspelheim is an expansion that brings a new region into the world of Trudvang. This right over here, this little map board. It features a unique hero that can be assigned to any class. Okay. Plus a 5 adventure campaign that takes the players to the depths of a mysterious and haunted kingdom, desperately in need of help to prevent its extinction. So there's another 5 sort of adventure campaign. For $70, you're going to play through it once, right? So each adventure should then give you $15 worth of entertainment. Only if we find Zvakarnir. Because I swear to the lords of the dwarves. Yeah, just another fun little textbook. Choosing your own adventure, building out the ambiance, and probably mainly playing on the new board, which is this. Ooh, which is really this. It's a very big board. And this would probably sit next to the main board, but I doubt if you're just jumping around in here. Oh, that's the Great Chasm. Bjorvalog. You gotta go down there. Yeah, I'm excited to explore it. I doubt you would even use the other board, which would be great. We have a bunch of wind tokens. Again, have a few new heroes. Boom. Morka. Morka is basically you can use them with anything. I think that's what that symbol means. Whereas otherwise you have to take like the Bard cards as well as your own cards, which makes mixing and matching a bit annoying in terms of setup. And then honestly, nothing very exciting in terms of minis except for that big buddy who we're going to look at. I don't know if this is valuable or not in terms of content. I mean, I just was like, hey, I got a new game. There's a lot of boxes. Feels like I should do this on camera. Plus, I like hanging out. And I'm going to open it anyway. Well, I might as well be filming it because everything I do is for all of you. Nothing I do in this hobby is for my own enjoyment anymore. You've sucked the life out of me. That's not true. But most things I play for, oh yeah, baby. I play for like review purposes and whatever. But this guy's pretty frickin' fun. Nice and meaty. Oh yeah, look at that bull face. I mean like a very clear line where it's just been like stuck together. They're like, yeah, it's huge. We're not gonna cover it with a cape or anything. We're just gonna cram them together. And with his arms too, you're like, yeah, he's a action figure. Deal with it. So if you care about those sorts of things, I don't care about those sorts of things. But you might care about it more if like you're painting. Otherwise, meh in terms of the production value. In terms of these werewolves who are clearly doing the single ladies dance, that's what that looks like. If you liked, you should have put a silver bullet on it. No, no! Ah! This guy's pretty fun. The heroes in Trudvang are very small. Maybe because they're all dwarves. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I remember what I was saying. And also too, I think it's potentially maybe a good touch point that I did get this, did get one that was sort of, might have been in retail if it had done well. I mean, they said it was Kickstarter exclusive. But I think it's basically all of these Trudvang extra levels they kind of boil down to the same thing, right? I think that's also potentially an interesting thing to note about other campaign games. And when we're looking at campaign games, when we're looking at backing things, is that when they add in these extra boxes on boxes on boxes, get in there, you troll, they all kind of boil down to the same thing and the same system. And I think I knew that going in. I knew it was just going to be more of the same, different sculpts, same flow. You still have the same hidden text you're going to be drawing out of the bag. You're going to be developing yourself in whatever way. Honestly, this is going to be hard to condense into two boxes because it is so full. But when you get a Kickstarter and you're just getting box on box on box on box, and this is a conservative pledge, right? Like this is the base pledge plus one thing. There were at least, let me get over here. There were at least 3 more of these boxes that you could have gotten. You could have spent an extra $200 on. And it just helps hammer home that even though the excitement is at an all-time high and the promise is at an all-time high, when it arrives, it'll be pretty much more of the same. Even with like Marvel United, right? You get box on box on box. There's a slight difference in mode, and that's how they sell you on it. But you have to really be excited about the core gameplay and the core loop itself. Trudvang hasn't left my collection, and that's not because I was waiting on this stuff and then I'm going to sell it all in one package. I like Trudvang. Like, I want to play this game. And I would bring it to a game night and be excited to pull it out and be excited to go on that sort of adventure if that's the vibe and that's what I was feeling. And I think that's really important that, again, these things can maintain their excitement. Now, I might have more of a personal investment because I want to see if Zach turns up in the game. But I don't think I would care enough. Like, that wouldn't push me to continue to play it. What would be the gameplay itself. So I'm excited to dive into it. It says 120 minutes per adventure. So maybe it's more closer to 2 hours when you're reading, depending upon the length of time that you're reading things at. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this one goes. I'll probably talk about it when I'm done with it and inevitably will pass this on to somebody else. And man, the art almost makes me want to keep like these on my shelf. I love too where boxes give you a like sort of horizontal art and then also a vertical art. For those who store their games vertically as well. So we have 2 vertical sides. And then the 2 horizontal sides. Which is pretty sweet. I think that's great, and like all boxes need to give you something interesting and something with different colors on both sides. So way to go, Trudvang, you did that. I don't know, that's all I got for you today. How you doing? What have you been up to? Honestly, I was more excited to unbox these Into the AM shirts that came that I'm going to do or will have done an ad for it already. But this isn't an ad. I'm just excited to be wearing these friggin' cool Into the AM stuff in their fall collection. Where if you want to save 10% off of like any of their existing deals, you can always use the code SLIPPERYJIM to do that. This isn't an ad. I mean, I'm just letting you know. Literally, nobody's paying me to say this. I just saw my shirt in the camera and I got excited to share because it doesn't have the Into the AM symbols. And you don't know that I'm being a shill, so I have to let you know. Yeah, maintain that excitement for when things come. Yeah, I think is important. And just a reminder, and I hope you do as well. If you've played Trudvang, let me know. Let me know how you're enjoying it. And if you like narrative passages in your games too, I'm interested. Because I know that was a huge thing for a while. And for me, kind of makes me tired. So it really sort of limits when I actually get it to the table or when I don't. And that's it. I feel like this video isn't even worth putting up. But hopefully if you're looking into Trudvang, now you know everything that's in the box itself. You can sort of evaluate on your own merits if getting this on the secondhand market is worth it. what sort of value will add to you. The minis are cool though. Like, actually surprised by how cool the minis are. I don't know why I should be surprised. CMON always does like pretty good stuff, but I was genuinely surprised at sort of the scale of some of them. And when they appear on the board for 20 seconds and then die and get removed, I'll be very excited. Anyway, that's it. I've said that a million times. Thanks for being here. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase, but I do have a lot of Trudvang now, and no reason to not play it now that I got my sweet little runes. And of course, my flag tokens. Now, I have a question. Do you want to go to this? Do you want to go to this spot? Or should we go to this spot? Right? It's tricky. I think if we go here, that's a bit better because we know what objective that pertains to. But this one could also benefit us. Hope you don't get confused. And something just fell off of it. Perfect. Anyway, just wanted to say hi. So hi. And goodbye.